LaMelo and Lonzo Ball are the only brothers ever to be drafted in the top 3 picks. Former high school coach of the Ball brothers said that this is no coincidence since LeVar has dedicated his life to developing his sons. LeVar tweeted his excitement, writing, "I told you so, proud of you," with a picture of him celebrating with his family. So, Shannon, how much credit does LeVar deserve here?
Immense credit. I want to give him as much credit as we give Archie and Olivia Manning for Peyton and Eli. I want LeVar and Tina Ball to receive equal credit. Now, you might not like the way he went about it. Maybe he's brash. Maybe he rubbed you the wrong way. But Skip, the guy got 2 sons that were top 3 NBA picks. There have been brothers that play in the NBA. Giannis got about 4 or 5 brothers.
Yep.
They got the Holiday brothers.
Yep.
The first brother, Skip, I didn't know Eugene Short, but I knew Purvis Short. I remember him playing.
Yeah, they were top 10 picks.
One was 5, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one was 9.
Back in the late 70s.
Right. Skip, top 3?
In the top 3. Whew.
Man, he deserves a ton of credit. And I think the thing is, Skip, if people based on whether or not they give you credit if they like you or not. If we like you, see, we like Archie. I know Archie, been talking to him a long time. First met him in '94 when Peyton was coming out and he was going to Tennessee. And I met his wife on several occasions. People like them, so they give them an immense amount of credit.
Sure.
LeVar, man, all he do is talk. Man, he talk about he could beat Jordan, and he talk about his son this. And the man got a son that was the number 2 pick, and 4 years later, he got a son that's the number 3 pick. He deserves an immense amount of credit. And I believe that he's devoted his life, that everything that he's done was to make sure his boys had the best opportunity, because whatever you want to be. And he said, what y'all want to do? You play basketball? Okay, we're going to play. We're going to go to the gym. We're going to get these shots up. We're going to get this weights in. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. And we give people, other people, that the parents, we give them the extra umpteenth credit. Oh, they drove him to school. They drove him to practice. It's hard for me to see a scenario in which LeVar wasn't at all their games.
Yep.
And it was easy.
And by the way, to your first point, the kids have to want to play.
Yes.
Because remember the Todd Marinovich story in your sport.
Yes.
Where he's just forced by his father to do, and he finally just comes completely apart because he never wanted to do that in the first place. But I believe all 3 sons really loved and wanted to play basketball.
Skip, I had Ken Griffey Jr. on my podcast, and I was talking to him about, obviously he got 2 sons and a daughter. And he was talking, and he had a lot of similar things that I said, is that, Skip, I never push my kids in any direction. I want you to, because I didn't want you to get to be 25 or 30 and say, well, Dad, I only did this because you wanted me to. I'm not going to push my kids in any direction except the direction that they're going in. Once you choose a path, I'm behind you, pushing you. Because at the end of the day, sports is like this, Skip. You can't want something for your child worse than they want it for themselves.
Yep.
And I believe as much as LeVar wanted it, the kids, Lonzo, LiAngelo, and Melo, wanted it equally as bad. And this is why you get to where they are. So I will give him he deserves the lion's. Look, obviously they got to do it, Skip. But the nurturing and the caring that he poured into these kids and basically gave up what he wanted to do to make sure they got to do what they wanted to do, Skip, he deserves a lion's share of the credit, just like we give other parents that we like credit when their kids are successful.
To your point, USA Today wrote, after the 2020 draft, you got to give LeVar props, period, paragraph, like it or not.
Right.
Well, I must admit, I've had a love-hate with LeVar. I love his insight. I love his foresight. He has sat right there numerous times, and things will come out of his mouth that you'll say, what?
Right.
And invariably, he will be correct.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But I still hate what he did to his oldest son when he got to the Lakers.
Right.
He had enough pressure already trying to follow in the footsteps of Magic Johnson and live up to his jersey's going to hang from the rafters, number 2 overall pick, the next Magic. And LeVar said he's already better than Steph Curry. Well, don't do that. He painted the biggest target on that young man's back anyone's ever had coming into this league. And Lonzo had to pay a severe price for it, especially like starting in game 1. Pat Bev's over there pointing at LeVar after the game.
Yeah.
That's for you. I just destroyed your kid,
Right.
and it's because of you.
Right.
Right? So after a while, I wondered, was it about the kids or was it about the dad?
Mm-hmm.
He's always talking about speaking it into existence.
Right.
He spoke his name into household name existence,
Right.
like worldwide household. People know him in China.
They do.
He is a celebrity in China where
Right.
basketball rules,
Yeah.
obviously. And yet, I'm completely with you, and I'm very happy to do this topic today. What he just pulled off is extraordinary because it's unprecedented. What usually happens if you are lucky enough, blessed enough to have one son go high, go in top 5 of the draft, the second son is LiAngelo, who winds up being a decent college player,
Right.
but not draftable, right?
Yes.
And yet he had a third son who well might be better than the first son.
Yes.
Okay, so I give him credit, and I might even give his wife even more credit. I believe she was the rock. I believe she was the safe harbor for these kids, because I think there were times when Dad was driving them a little nuts
Right,
with
right.
all of his self-promotion and big baller brand and all of the
Right.
above. And obviously Lonzo went through some trying times with Dad, and,
Right.
and it feels like, you know, he sort of pulled away and then he came back. And in the end, the kids love their dad. And they always say, in the end, he's our dad.
Right.
And we still love him.
Right.
But look at the picture that LeVar posted last night. I told you so is the caption.
Right.
And it's a dual picture. We can see it again. I think here we go. But it's it's 2 frames, because the left frame is LeVar posing like I told you so.
Yeah, you got it all folded like,
Right.
yeah, what?
Right. Because that's vintage. That's
Yes.
that guy. That's who he is.
Yes.
I told you so.
Right.
And then on the other side, he's hugging
glow.
LaMelo. Okay.
Because all y'all said it wasn't going to happen.
I got it, but he is the ultimate gloater, except maybe short of you. And by the way, speaking of my partner, Shannon Sharp,
Yes.
you realize that you and your older brother came very close to doing something that was unprecedented. If Sterling had not gotten hurt with a spinal injury, is that fair to call it?
Yes.
It's like a
He had
neck,
he had a neck injury, yeah.
He was on a Hall of Fame arc. I think he was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I think he was on a first ballot arc.
Oh, yeah.
Fair to say?
Yeah.
Go find 2 brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because you can't.
No.
Nor can you find them in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We can keep on keeping on. The Esposito brothers are in the Hockey Hall of Fame. But then I'm thinking of siblings, and I'm thinking of Venus and Serena. Obviously, that's at the highest level.
Yes.
That's greatness.
Right.
And
It's a rarity, Skip.
there's Reggie and Cheryl Miller, obviously, at the highest level in men's, women's basketball.
You know, Hank and Tommy Aaron,
Yep.
you know, Walt and Eddie Payton.
But Tommy wasn't that.
Right.
I'm talking about, you could have had 2 Hall of Famers, and yet you didn't have a LeVar pushing you guys.
No.
You had great grandparents, but they weren't pushing you.
No.
They were just sort of teaching you how life works.
Yeah, they was pushing us to work on the farm.
Well, okay.
get a job in Steel Rock, Glenville. That's what.
Right, okay.
Right.
So, but that's, so you can certainly appreciate even more what this requires.
Yes. It's Skip, for me, I'm not saying the way LeVar did it is the only way. That's not the only way to do it, because I believe you can do it like you said, Skip. I went to a lot of games and there was no one there. My grandmother only saw me play once, and that was my last game in college. So there are a lot of games that I played in high school. In Pop Warner, there was no one there in my family to see me play. I was cool with that. I was just playing, having a good time, and it never really dawned on me. And I saw all the other parents and you know there. But Skip, it didn't dawn on me like, well, because my family isn't here, they don't love that. That never dawned on me. I'm just doing what I'm trying to get out of chores. And if I'm playing football, that means I ain't got to run hogs and I ain't got to do anything, do yard work. But me and my brother, we sat out on this path a long time ago, and we talk about it when we talk now. It's like, man, Skip, all I want to do is get my grandmother to that situation, the house that lived in.
I got it.
Now, for them, like you said, they're upper middle class.
Upper middle.
What's their motivation? What's Peyton and Eli's motivation?
Good question.
The Watts and TJ and JJ Watt, they got another brother. I think he's a fullback now. Derek. What's their motivation? Skip, I'm motivated because my house leak. I got no indoor plumbing. I got no running water.
Okay, I got it. I think Peyton and Eli, who by the way, will become, I think, the first brothers in your Hall of Fame if Eli makes it, and I think he will. I'm not sure he would get my vote, but that's a whole nother issue. But the point is, they were trying to live up to their dad, who was a very good, he was a great college player and a pretty good NFL quarterback.
Yes.
So you're trying to make dad proud. Well, that's motivation.
And he was the second pick. People don't realize Archie was the second pick in the draft.
Yeah. Okay.